Hi there, and welcome to another scrapbooking process video. Today I am working on week 49 in my Project Life album. And before I do so, I'm just familiarizing myself with the Ali Edwards December kit. This is the Stories by the Month kit. I've been subscribed to this kit for about 2 years now and closing in on the last of my time working with this kit. I'm going to be using different kits in 2023. And I've really loved having this particular card all through the year. So every month there's a different card that's very similar to this with different color schemes for the month. And I've done all sorts of things with this card. I have sometimes combined them into making two for when I think I documented July and August together. And I've done kind of different things, and it's been fun to kind of challenge yourself to do different things so that it's not always a repetition of the same thing. Pardon me. And so this is my last idea. Sometimes I just slap a label on there and call it a week, but in this case, I've decided to use some vellum. And as you can see, using one sheet of vellum is not all that. It doesn't make that big of a difference. So I'm going to layer 2 sheets of vellum, just cutting out the circle that goes around the month there. And then I'm layering them together. And it doesn't make that big of a difference here in the video, but in real life, it really does look pretty. And you can see the layers of the vellum. The vellum doesn't fit completely flat. The way I'm going to attach this vellum is with some staples in the corners using my tiny attacher. And so for that reason, there's, you can get like little pockets of air, or, the vellum can kind of shift around a little bit. And I really like that. So I'm going to take this star that also came in the kit, and I'm just going to staple that in place as well. And that just directs your attention a little bit to the month of December. And now I'm just going to grab my hazel letter stamp set. I love this stamp set, and I'm just using my tiny little block. I'm going to condition it because I haven't used all of these letters, especially not the numbers. I'm just going to stamp 5 to 18 because those are the dates that this week spans. So December 5th to the 18th. And then I do need a little dash, and I can't remember how I did that. There we go. I just drew it in with a gray pen. And I'm using my Stampin Up ink for that. And now I'm also going to type the week. So December 5th to 18th, and that is week, I'm going to say 49 to 50, which is, obviously that's a 2-week period from the 5th to the 18th. I'm not sure that these photos span exactly that length of time, but it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. I kind of lost track of the way that my weeks were playing out here, and that's okay. No one will know in the end. Nobody's going to be looking at this in 2050 and looking at the calendar and saying, "Wait a second, that wasn't week 48." So, that's what I'm banking on. I'm hoping nobody does that. And if they do, well, that's okay too. So week 49 to 50. And yeah, so, I'm narrating this after the fact. So I know that the following week is actually week 50. So this is really just week 49. I'll just put those stamps away so I don't lose anything. And I did use the smaller numbers for the numbers for the week. And I think that just looks interesting. I like how that looks. Just tearing off a little piece of scrap paper to stamp off onto and check my stamps before I use them. I have the Paper Person kit here from December as well, or November. I don't know which one I have. I'm just looking at what other stuff I have here to work with. Familiarizing myself with my supplies. The Kelly Perky kit for this month, or the Paper Person kit for this month, is one that focuses on baking. And so I do have a couple of gingerbread photos in the mix here, so I think I'll use that letter sticker that looks like gingerbread for that. And I have some packaging that says Elf on it with the Elf logo, and we did watch that movie this week, so I will use that as well. And some of these photos aren't going to be on this spread, they'll be on next week's spread. And at this point, I think that I can spread both of these weeks across one page, and I just can't. So I'm just pulling everything out that goes into week 50, and I'll put those all aside, and I'll scrapbook those next time. That video is already on my channel, so you can check that one out if you want. It should be called Project Life Process Week 50. And then after that, there's another one called Week 50-ish, because it's one of those little midway weeks that spans a couple. So as you can see, even keeping it down to 1 week, I'm still going to struggle to fit all of these photos and stories into this one page, but I'm going to make it work. I'm going to use a few little tricks to make it work. So I'm gesturing there because I do film real time, like I stream these real time as I'm filming. And so people who are tiaras or Patreon members, they get to see this sooner, and the real-time unedited versions of them. Some people really like that, and some people are patrons and don't watch the real times. They just like to get early ad-free access to the process videos and attend the live stream crops and those sorts of things. So anyhow, I am really working hard to get everything fit on this page. There will be a few flippity flaps that have to be used here. Pardon me. And what I'm really struggling with is I would like to use that remember card, but I don't have 3 memories to document there. And I want to use that mistletoe canvas that Sophie made. I want that photo there, but I haven't quite decided exactly how I'm going to do it. So for now, I'm just going to leave it like that and hope that I can figure something out. And I like to use Lindt chocolate wrappers because they are kind of like an iconic part of our holiday season. We always get them a few different ways. We usually buy a package of them, and also they come with our favorite festive meal deal at Swiss Chalet as well, which is a restaurant here in Canada. So that's really pretty. It's not quite enough by itself, but I'll go back and add something later. So I use these little pockets that you can adhere to your Project Life pages. You can adhere them to anything really, but I use them for my Project Life pages, and they just add a little flip up pocket. And so I'm going to be using one of those here. And what that does is it takes one 3x4 cell and allows you to put 3 cards in it. So that kind of greatly expands the utility of these pockets. So I'm just using my correction tape here to add white borders. Once I trim down some of these photos, they don't have the same size borders, and it's a bit of a pain to go back and trim them down or remat them, and so I just use my correction tape to add the white borders to the edges, and that works pretty well. So what I'm doing here is I've picked out this blue card with the white flowers on it. It's so pretty. I love that little design. I'm going to do my journaling here. It says, Annabelle, Liv, Noah, and I made gingerbread houses from kits today. We missed having Sophie, who was at work, but she will make one with Ty another day. And then I'll use my roller date stamp to stamp the day, which was December 11th for that one. So I will just slip that into the pocket and with the This Happened card, which shows the gingerbread houses. And then this card right next to it has a photo. It's like a screen capture of the local newspaper from Scott's hometown, and it has his mom and dad on the front page of the news. So I'm just writing out Nana and Papa were on the front page of the Guysborough News. I think I had to look up how to spell Guysborough. That might be why I had my keyboard out there. And I'm going to put a title on there. It's going to say extra extra to kind of fit with the idea of this being a newspaper, even though I don't think it's a hard copy newspaper. I think it's only digital. I don't know for sure. So I'm going to use these stickers, which are from Studio Calico. They're fairly old, but I like them. They have a real kind of typewriter look to them. As you can see, I've used a lot of them already, so they are one of my favorites. So I didn't have an R, so I'm going to do some letter sticker surgery here with an N, where I'm basically cutting it into an R, and then I'm missing the serif. So I'm taking the serif from the N and applying it back to the R again. So I'm basically cutting it up into little pieces to make the R look a little bit more like it matches with the other letters. It's still missing a serif, but that's okay. It looks better than it did before. And I'm mixing and matching the upper and lower case letters because I have to at this point with these letters because I just don't have enough. And again, there's no R, so I'm just making one here, and I'll go back and add the serif, I think. Yeah, right there. I'm just using my glue pen. It's a Zig glue pen. The ballpoint one gives you the tiniest little bead of glue, so it's perfect for these tiny little letters. And then we'll add an exclamation point, of course. And then this card is done. I'll put away the letter stickers into my little photo album there. And that one goes over there. Now I hope I zoom out because I'm going to put titles on these two 4x6 photos that will go side by side. And I'm going to use these Studio Calico label stickers. They have a grid on them, and they came in a recent kit, maybe the September or August kit, or maybe even October, I don't know. So I'm going to spell out Mary on this one beside Annabelle. Annabelle and I did one, and one each, and Liv and Noah did one together in the kitchen at the same time. So their sticker is going to go in a slightly different place so it doesn't look too matchy-matchy. And they have a blue sticker, and I'll put Jolly on theirs. Oh, I was going to put Bright. It was going to be Mary and Bright. And then maybe I would have put them the other way, but I've decided to put Jolly here instead. I'm going to add some puffy stickers, and I'm adding the ones that match with those letters already, so it all looks kind of gingerbready. Now here's that problematic card that I was having trouble with. I'll just layer another card that I don't think I'll use there, just to give myself some plain blank space there, because I plan to cover that with washi. Of course, washi's a little see-through, so you'd be able to see that if I didn't use the backwards card there. And so I went with that plaid type of washi. I like that. I'm going to do my journaling here. It says, Sophie has been working on this mistletoes canvas this week. She plans to give it to Ty for Christmas. And then that's going to leave me with a little bit of space below my journaling that I'm going to need to put something on. So first, let's see what we can put up in this top corner to balance out. So I know I'm going to put something in the bottom left corner. So now I'm going to look for something for the top right corner just to balance that out. And here it is. Around here in December, it says. I'm looking for something kind of horizontal to put in this space. So That's what I'll put is that remember flag. So I'm just adhering that with my Tombow tape runner. And while I'm at it, I will add a little something to this. Let's use the black one. Now we have this photo. It's a 3x4 photo, so it fills a whole pocket, and it just has a photo of the splay that Sophie made at work. And I wanted to do something on the door, the space that's the door, and I thought maybe one of those stamps might fit, but it won't fit. So I'm just going to do my journaling around the outside edge of the door. It says, Sophie made this door decoration at work this week. How fun. I needed something to put in that little space there, so I just grabbed a little dark blue star, and that's it. Now, I really loved this logo. I can't even remember what it is that I cut it off of, but something came with this on it. And I knew that we'd be watching the movie, so I thought I'd hang on to it and use it to document watching the movie. So I'm just going to fussy cut all the way around this. And it is tricky fussy cutting thicker chipboard like this, because this was like chipboard packaging from a cracker box, or I don't know what it was from. But the one thing that happens when you cut that kind of cardstock or chipboard is that you get these little brown edges. Yeah, that's the best way to describe them, is like little brown edges where the fiber of the paper kind of shows through. And so I will have to go back, especially the inside of the E there, the part that I haven't cut out yet. That gets quite a bit of that brown fibers showing. And so I'll just go back with a dark pen. You'll see me do that in a few minutes, and just kind of take care of that to darken it up and make it disappear. So fussy cutting all around Buddy. And I'm just grabbing my X-Acto knife and my glass mat, and then I will just cut out that inside of the E. It's so thick, it's really hard to cut through. And that's why it left fibers behind. I'm trying to cut it clean, but it's just not doing it. So now I'm trying to tidy it up. I'm not the best X-Acto knife cutter, so I there we go. I just took a marker and I'll just make it disappear by coloring it in black. That works. And there we go. If I scooch everything over to the left like that, that leaves me a little space to the right to add some journaling lines and just say that we watched the movie this week. And you'll notice that Buddy's hat extends up off the page, and I'm not going to trim it down. I often extend things off and then I trim them down, but I don't want to lose the cute details of his hat there. And because this card is on the right side of my layout, the pocket opening is there, and so his hat will just poke out of the pocket very subtly, and it won't make a difference at all. I used my hot off the press journaling template to write out my lines, and now I'm just saying we watched Elf as a family this week, but forgot to take a picture. So that's why all I have is just this Elf title here. I'll put a green puffy heart right there. All of these puffy hearts and stars are from Paper Person, various kits over the past couple of months. Now this is a photo of my office. I had several of different angles and stuff, and I don't need to use them all. So I ripped the paper by accident there, so I just fixed that up. I'll put the picture of the waiting room in my office. I just like to take a picture of it every once in a while, just because it changes over time. I like to have it documented. These are some rubber pieces that came in Ali Edwards kits, and they say different phrases on them. And the blue one that I'm choosing, I think it just kind of mimics the circles on the pattern paper already. But the blue one that I'm choosing says, remembering this little moment. And then I'm adding a chipboard piece that says find peace, because we like our waiting room to be peaceful and have cozy vibes. Cozy, peaceful vibes. Now, I have a number of cells here that are dedicated to documenting Woody. So Woody is the talking Christmas tree that shows up at our mall every year. It actually went away for many years. It was around when I was a little kid, and then it went away because it's kind of hideous, and it was good that it went away. But then it came back as like a retro throwback thing for Gen Xers, I guess, to feel nostalgia and probably try to draw them back to the mall. And so anyhow, we're all bringing our kids to see the creepy Christmas tree now. And it became famous last year, which was its first year back. It was on the Jimmy Fallon show, and CNN did a piece on it. And it was just kind of like we were the brunt of everybody's jokes about creepy Christmas trees. And so anyhow, I showed Annabelle some of that footage, and she said, I can't be in the city world famous for its creepy Christmas tree and not visit the creepy Christmas tree. So I'm just spelling out that quote, and I'm using these creepy letter stickers from my sticker club. These are Pip Sticks letter stickers, and I'm spelling out creepy twice with them. I just wrote that down when she said it because I thought that sounds like a Project Life title right there. And then I'll just attribute it to Annabelle. Christmas tree and then dash Annabelle. And that will go inside of the flippity flap. And then the picture of her with Woody will be on the other side of it. And then another picture of Woody with people around it. It kind of gives you a sense of the scale, and you can see where kids walk up and talk into the microphone to him. So I think that photo underneath does kind of show important details. And then this one above it is a 4x6, and so that'll fill the whole pocket. But I put this label here from Studio Calico. Then I'm gonna use these Studio Calico cursive letters to spell out Woody. And then after it's spelled out, and I'm just layering those so that they look like it's written in cursive. And after it's spelled out, I'm going to come back with my .005 pen, which is a very, very, very fine pen. And I'm going to write meeting, and then there's Woody. And then underneath it, I'm going to put the talking Christmas tree. So it says meeting Woody, the talking Christmas tree. And then I'm going to layer a couple of hearts here. I really do not like these puffy stickers that have the holes in them to look like buttons. Oh, I really don't like those. And so I'm just going to layer another heart on top of it just to cover up the buttons. I believe that we should make up our minds. Are we using buttons or are we using puffy stickers? Because they're not both, like, that hybrid item is not nice. That's just my opinion. If you love them, use them. And if you love them, send me your address and I will send you mine. So next, I'm going to use this December This and That card, which is another monthly repetition that comes in the Ali Edwards Stories by the Month kits. And I'm going to just add this picture of our Christmas tree. And yeah, I like to put packing tape on all of my stamp sets so I don't lose those backings. I've decided to add a stamp here. I'm going to stamp it onto crumb cake cardstock, which is like a craft paper. And this stamp set about holiday movies, it came from Paper Person, and it says favorite family flicks, and it's on the edge of a ticket. So I'm just going to cut it out and layer it with the elf card It's just an idea that I had as I was working on the other card. Sometimes I get distracted and I'll just go back and add something. So that ticket looks pretty good right there. I made it green so it kind of matches with the rest of the things on that card. And now I have these two to do. So this one is Sophie hiding behind our Rubbermaid bins, and I'm just taking an Everyday Explorer's stamp here, and it says all the sparkles, and I'm just putting it right on the Rubbermaid bin. And just kind of looking for different things to stamp here. There's a work from home stamp set there. I don't know what I think I might use that for, but I also want to make sure that I don't lose the backing, so I'm using my packing tape there to do that. Meanwhile, I'm taking some craft paper, and it says, what does that say? Today's space. Or no, today's office. And so since I've documented my office, I thought I would kind of add that to it. It's beautiful. I love that color scheme. I stamped it in the same blue that's also already in the card. It's I think it's called Night of Navy by Stampin' Up. Love how that looks in navy on craft. Whew, navy on craft, my new favorite combo. I'm just going to trim this down. I don't need my fireplace and TV set. Just the tree is all I want. So we will trim this down. And I'm just going to take off the white edges too. And what I think I'll do is just round the corners. I do have a corner rounder, but I didn't want to go across my room to get it. So I just rounded it with my scissors. You don't need fancy tools for all these things. Fancy tools are fun, don't get me wrong, but you don't need them. I'll use my roller date stamp to say December 7th, just so we have a record that we did our tree on December 7th of this year. Sometimes we do it sooner, sometimes we do it later. Ooh, that would have looked nice there. I'm going to put this beautiful one. It says beautiful messes all over. Because of course it's very messy when you're decorating for Christmas. And now all that I have left is just a few more. So I've got this one of Liv opening our Down Under box. And this is a box that my friend Shell sent us. And I want to use both of these, but I don't really want to do a lift the flap. So because it's almost the same photo, it's just one has a bit more context because it's zoomed out. So I just did my little technique where I add a piece of washi tape to make a pull, and I stamp pull here from a push-pull set from Lawn Fawn. And then I tuck that photo in behind the other photo, like the main photo. And I like this one because you can see it says, like it has the map of Australia. You can see it because it's zoomed in. You can see her face better, her expression. But the other one shows more of like what our room looked like that day. And I like those photos too. So I'm using another one of those Studio Calico label stickers. And I'm just saying, discovering Australian snacks sent with love from Shell and Paul. So thank you, Shell, for sending us these. We're still eating them, believe it or not. Delicious candy and snacks. Yum. I added that semicircle in yellow, and then I just need to add a little something to it so it's not blank. So there I added a red star. And for the Just Love card, all I did was add a little red geotag that you can barely see. It's just very subtle, but I like it. I like subtle details. So next, I'm just going to slide these into the pockets. And I do include this section because every once in a while I do something when I notice a detail, or I add something or change things around a little bit. So I just leave it in so that you can see it all come together. This is sort of like the most satisfying part of project life, is when you just kind of get to put the page together and see how it fits with the pages before it. And I always kind of flip the pages around just to check out the flow and stuff. So just adding that flippity flap right there. Ooh, I like that. Turned out nice. And anytime that I have two 3x4s that go into a 4x6 pocket, I just tape them together with washi tape. And when I do this, sticking one photo behind the other, I like to make the outside one be as tight a fit as possible in that pocket, and then have the one underneath be a loose fit so that it comes out easily without pulling the other one with it. And there's my pages. And I do go back a couple pages just to, maybe I go back to the beginning, who knows? Just to see the flow of the color schemes and just kind of enjoy that repetition that you get when you use the same kit month to month. So Ali Edwards in particular has so much repetition in her kits that it's nice to have kind of these elements pop up again and again in your pages. So I'm just kind of enjoying looking through that. And now my final touch here is that I do have to put a little tab. I like to put tabs on these flippity flaps because it just directs your attention to them and reminds people that there's something to interact with here. And I do reinforce them with staples because they don't always stay stuck if you don't. I'm just kind of looking at the different ways that you can do this. Some of them are the plastic photo flaps, and some of them are like a tent-like flip-up card. I missed one there, so I had to add a tab to that. Another good reason to kind of flip around and look at everything, make sure everything works, that works with the pages before it. So that's it. Just a quick shout out to my Patreon supporters. These folks help make this channel happen, so a great big thanks to all of them. They, of course, get ad-free access to all of my process videos and real-time unedited versions of my videos, as well as monthly live streams and a few other things. Thank you also for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate you watching my videos. Feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know if you have any questions or comments. Until next time, have a really great scrappy week.